Hello and welcome to the Bike Show. We come to you today from Kyalami, from Cayenne World, in fact, still South Africa's largest motorcycle retailer. Later in the show, I get to swing my leg over Can-Am's newest and sportiest Spider. But first, Harry has a go on a bike that possibly has the best name in the world, the Agusta Turismo Veloce.
We're no strangers to MV Agusta here on the Bike Show. In recent episodes, we've tested the 800 Brutale, the 800 Stradale, the 800 Rivale, and the Dragster 800. Now, the observant amongst you will have noticed a faintly common theme. They're all powered by MV Agusta's 800cc triple-cylinder engine, which, it has to be said, is a fantastic engine, at once powerful, snarling, and offering tremendous performance. Another slightly common factor is that they're all naked sports bikes. What might not be so obvious, unless you've ridden them all like we have, is that they are totally uncompromising naked sports bikes. Brilliant for a Sunday blast or even a track day, but pretty horrible for anything longer distance. Well, now MV have stirred the pot once more and come up with this, the Turismo Veloce. As the name suggests, it's a sports touring bike, and this is not an area in which MV naturally excels, or have ever even tried. But with a brave leap forward, they've had a go in order to broaden the appeal of the 800 series. At first glance, it's not completely convincing. They've taken the standard 800 theme and made it taller, added a fairing and a tall screen, and provided for panniers to be fitted. Pretty much the default setting for modern sports touring bikes. A kind of adventure bike without any pretense at off-road ability. The engine is as found in the other models in the range, although completely remapped, giving the lowest power rating of the group alongside the second highest torque reading. It's all been designed to make everything a little less frantic, which sort of takes away one of the great attractions of the 800cc range, that bonkers urgency that was always only a twist of the throttle away. It's still there, just a little more civilised. Whilst it may have been tamed a little, there is certainly no shortage of toys. 4-level ABS, 8-way traction control with lean angle sensor, ride-by-wire throttle with 4 engine maps, 2 external power sockets, Brembo calipers, Bluetooth connectivity, cruise control. It's very well equipped. But, and there are a couple of small buts. First of all, look at it. It's not the greatest expression of Italian beauty, is it? That short wheelbase, which is so effective on the other models in the 800 range, looks a bit odd when the bike is as tall, or seems to be as tall, as it is long. Another point, this dashboard. It's the busiest, most illegible dashboard I've ever seen on a bike. I've seen comics with less writing, which are clearer. However, fire it up and shoot it at a horizon and all is forgiven, because here you've got one of the best engines and chassis in motorcycling today. The engine may have shed a few horsepower, but the torque is right up there and it's delivered exactly where and when you need it. And playing with this quick shifter up and down the gearbox is just pure joy. And here, for once, is an MV Agusta that just begs to be taken onto the highway to discover far-off distant lands. I quite like it. Not only that, but the chassis, despite the vertigo-inducing height, is still as taut and nimble as it always was, and perhaps more user-friendly because of the more relaxed and roomy riding position that the higher bars permit. On the other models, your weight and body position are very much right over the top yoke, which might be good for quick steering, but can make things a bit twitchy. You feel like you're sitting in this model as opposed to on the others. It's a lot more reassuring. Wind protection is pretty good from the adjustable screen, and seat comfort, for the rider at least, is good. I can't pass comment on the pillion seat, but to be frank, it doesn't look like the most comfortable ever fitted to a bike. At 169,000 rand, this isn't the cheapest bike out there, although there are more expensive and cheaper rivals. However, if you've always hankered after an exotic Italian thoroughbred, but have been put off somewhat by the uncompromising and sporty nature, then I give you here in the Turismo Veloce the most usable MV Agusta ever.
Now I'm trying to figure out this MV Agusta range. You've got this one, what's it called? Turismo Veloce. I'll get the name eventually. And that one is the Stradale.
Yes.
What's the difference?
That one's got a bigger screen and more fairing, more wind protection. It's slightly taller and the seat's more comfortable.
And it's a slightly different riding position, isn't it? It seems to be
completely.
a little bit further back, because on this one you sat much closer to the handlebar, and this one is pretty lively when it gets a shift on.
Yes, this
is quite scary, actually.
This is much more stable, should we say.
So I'm just trying to work out what is the function of each. I mean, they both seem to do the same thing. So why did they build
In
both?
a world of niches, as you well know, like the car guys, people are getting a bit carried away because, as I think you mentioned in the piece, MV Agusta say this Turismo Veloce is the first ever tourer it's made. Which begs the question, what's this? It comes with panniers as standard, so that to me is a tourer.
That's an urban tourer.
An urban tourist, so you need panniers.
Who tours around a city?
I'm just trying to help them out here.
So what, you're going to Boxburg for the day, I need my panniers?
Yes.
This is slightly less power than that as well, doesn't it? That's the other way to differentiate. Because remember, there's the Rivali, which looks remarkably like this, but without panniers.
Yes, and a screen. This is more practical, I think. It's more comfortable on a long
But
distance.
practical, shouldn't the urban be more practical than the tourer?
Oh, I don't know.
See what I mean when I say I'm getting confused?
Let's cut back to some hard-based facts. It's 170 grand for this one, and it's 160 grand for this one, so that helps you classify them somehow.
I don't know how.
Look, it is a good bike. It's a very lovely bike, especially the auto blip down change, but 170 grand buys you a lot of bikes, so what else is it fighting against?
Well, the most obvious, and you mentioned this, is the Yamaha Tracer at 125 grand.
Yeah, I don't know about most obvious. I mean, don't forget, this is Italian and it's exotic. I don't mean to be rude to you, it ain't no Yamaha, you know what I mean? So,
well, it's Japanese.
What about your
exotic.
Ducati, your Hyperstrada, that type of thing?
The Hyperstrada, that's not got nearly as much wind protection as this has, though.
Yeah, that's more one of those.
Yeah,
so we're talking niches again.
But you've got things like the Triumph Tiger XRX, just the road
the 800,
version.
yeah, and that's still sort of 30 grand cheaper, isn't it?
Still 30 grand. If you've even got the 1050 Tiger Sport, which again is about 140.
Yeah, bit old hat these days.
Bit old hat, but it's more power, bigger engine, just as comfortable. What else have you got?
Well, basically, if you love MV Agusta, you love Italian, buy one of those. If you're thinking with your brain and not with your heart, buy one of the others.
Well, it makes sense for me. And I can see Harry is flagging under the strain, aren't you?
I can't think of anything else to say.
Okay, well, listen, Tom heart rating, let's put you on the spot.
3.5. I know it's low.
I think that's pretty damn low, actually, to be fair.
Well, I can't give everything 4.5.
Well, where did it lose out then?
Where did it lose out? Yeah, what doesn't
1.5
it do?
star, where did they go?
The wind protection isn't quite as good as it is on, say, the Triumph Tiger, I have to be honest.
Yeah, but you are 9'4", so...
Yeah.
This is true, it's not my own fault. And the heat that this thing kicks out, this engine, when if you're threading through traffic, if you stop at traffic lights, it is enormous amounts of heat that comes out here, and it does get, in the hot weather we've been having, really uncomfortable.
All the electronics, more horsepower than the Triumph, more electronic riding modes, better traction control, quick shifter up and down the box, which the Triumph doesn't have.
It's a toy. You don't need it.
That's a rubbish rating. I'll ask the editor. It's at least a 4.
You haven't even
He's in a
it.
bad mood, ignore him. We'll come back after the break and we'll have made him smile, I promise.